Hello everyone, can you hear me? Wave in the back if you can. Hey, I knew I had some friends out there. Hi, I'm John Veman. I'm the publisher of Down East magazine, books, and online. A little applause, thank you. Some real friendlies out here. Okay, come on, we got to get the energy level up here, guys. All right. Guy in the front, he's our cheerleader. All right. We're gonna turn this stage over to what I can honestly say is one of our hottest cookbook authors. She's a former innkeeper at the Kingsley Inn. That's up to Mount Desert. For those of you who are familiar with Maine, that's up the coast a little bit. And she's now the innkeeper at the Pomegranate Inn right here in Portland, Maine. So she's the author of The Art of Breakfast, which is right here, which is a new book from Down East Books. And she's going to actually give us one of her recipes that made the back cover of her new cookbook, The Art of Breakfast. So it's my pleasure to introduce Dana Moos, author of The Art of Breakfast, and after the presentation, Dana will be available for additional conversations, sampling of what she's making here today, and also signing her new book right over here in the Down East booth. So Dana, take it away.
Thank you, John. Thank you. So like John said, the Grapefruit Brûlé is what I'm making this afternoon. It's something that we start breakfast with on a regular basis at the inn, just because a lot of guests really love it. I do try to do some unique things with fruit, and I've discovered that I can do a lot of things with simple sauces, with some raw sugar and some fresh fruit. So I'll show you the Grapefruit Brûlé this morning. I'll talk about a couple of the sauces that I use, and I'll have samples of the grapefruit. I'll do a couple of different things with oranges and bananas. So simple fruit you can serve to anybody, you can have yourself. You know, the fruits that I use are readily available in any grocery store, so they're simple. So what I've started with, at the inn, we serve a half a grapefruit per person, and I have one of my favorite tools is a grapefruit section knife. One end actually has two blades that can separate the fruit from the skin, and the other side releases it from the actual fruit. So, pardon me? Oh, I thought you asked a question. So I first go through and I separate, and I use the double-edged knife and go around the fruit, and then take the other end and go around the entire grapefruit. You don't have to do this, but it just makes it a lot easier. And that way you don't get the membrane, because they are a little tough. And here I've got ruby red and regular grapefruit, whatever you can find. My vanilla sauce is sour cream, a little bit of honey, vanilla bean, and some white sugar in a blender. And it stores well in the freezer. You can put it on any sauce, you can put it on ice cream, you know, a variety of things really. You could probably use yogurt to make it a little healthier. You could probably use light sour cream. So then I take that and I drizzle this on the top, and I like to cover it so that it really fills the cavity of the grapefruit. And then what I use is raw sugar that sometimes is referred to as turbinado. It's just a larger crystal so that when you put it on top of the cream, it won't melt. Because the key to getting a good burn is that the sugar doesn't melt before you're able to actually burn it with the torch. And you'll see I've got the regular torch that I get at a hardware store, because when I first started doing these, I had the small kitchen torch that came from any of the kitchen supply stores, and the flame was much too small to actually burn the sugar before it would melt. So my husband got me one of these, and it's got a push button start, and it's my favorite tool in the entire kitchen. So I take about a full tablespoon of the raw sugar and sprinkle it on top. And then my torch. And I hold the torch just about an inch to an inch and a half away. And I get to the point where just before it actually burns to where it's flat, you want to come just shy of that. And then I sometimes go back where I like it completely covered, so it looks like creme brulee where the top is completely crackle. So I'll come back in just with a little bit around the edge.
Hey, really good idea to take a cooking class or something that involves a torch when you have people and wash.
Just said that.
And that's all there is to it. I'll let this cool for a minute, but then if you tap it with something sharp, you can hear it sounds like it's glass. It's got that really sharp, creme brulee texture, and that's what you want, so that when you dig into it with a spoon, you go through that crunch of the sugar, and it tastes like creme brulee with grapefruit in every bite. So it's really fun to do. A lot of people who are on certain medications can't have grapefruit, so that's why I have oranges. So I will take, if you get large oranges, you can actually cut them in half and serve them the same way as the grapefruit. But if you just find average size oranges, I slice them and serve 2 or 3 slices, depending on the size of the orange, per plate. So I peel the orange. And you hope to get a really juicy orange, because the juice combined with the vanilla cream is really what makes the sauce. And then a few slices. It helps if you get seedless. And then I arrange the slices on the plate. And come back with the vanilla sauce. And then the sugar. And then the fun part. That one's not quite as brown as I like it, so I come back with just a little bit more.
People would be like, I would never have, I would never have made it. Exactly. For days. He'd be like, where's that? What do you do with that?
And there we go. And then I drizzle.
Pumpkin amaretto.
Because I just can't have anything plain.
Alright, Jared and I are going to go flirt with a bunch of young girls. We'll be back.
And a raspberry on top. And that could be dessert, that could be breakfast, that could be snack. And then if you find some of your friends or guests or family don't like citrus, banana is perfect. And for the bananas, I like to use my cinnamon cream, which is the same base of sour cream. I use brown sugar and honey and cinnamon, and put that in the blender. And one of the benefits of using sour cream is that it won't curdle. So when you do creme brulee, you go to torch the top of your creme brulee, because it's got eggs in it, you have to be very careful not to get it too hot or it will curdle. The sour cream will not do that. So with this, I slice them on a bias, so you have a lot of surface space to actually torch. And then just arrange them on a plate. Put my cinnamon sauce on top. And the sugar. Now you don't actually have to cover the entire surface of the cut fruit. It's just your preference. I like to cover the whole thing because I love the crackle crunch of the sugar. You could actually torch the fruit without the sauce, On the banana, it works really well. If you do it without the sauce on the citrus is very wet, so the sugar might melt before you can get it all burnt. But you could do it just small sections at a time, because it's almost a race with the clock. Now this would be good with a chocolate drizzle, but I didn't bring chocolate with me today. And then something I wanted to talk about was using light brown sugar instead of raw sugar, because a lot of people ask me if they can use that. And you can. Believe it or not, different manufacturers have different textures of the sugar. Some are actually wetter, some are drier, some are larger, coarser, and some are finer. So it really just depends on what you have. But I can show you the difference. And I can show you how it burns differently. So I'll put my sauce on the grapefruit. And if you actually put the brown sugar on, thick enough,
risotto cake.
then you'll be able to torch it before it actually all melts, because you've got a thick enough layer, even though brown sugar is actually a finer grain than the raw sugar. But you can pack it on a little bit thicker. So if you can't find the other sugar, you can use this. It does tend to burn differently, but it still burns and gets crisp. They really look the same. They have, you can't, well, actually that's not firmed up yet. That has that crackle glass sort of finish. So when it cools down, you have to wait a minute before it'll actually really harden up. Can't have a grapefruit without a drizzle. And then sometimes what I'll do, rather than serving a half a grapefruit, I'll peel the grapefruit just like I did the orange and serve slices. Sometimes I'll serve slices of orange with the grapefruit. And you could do the bananas. You could do a whole fruit plate, really, with torched sugar. My newest favorite, I will buy fresh figs and cut them in half, dip them in the vanilla cream, and then the brown sugar, and torch them, and it's just amazing. Sometimes I'll serve them on the side of just an entree, a savory entree, so at the end of your savory entree, you have a bite of something sweet, and those are really nice. So I've done it with peaches, nectarines, I haven't done it with plums. I don't know that the plum, I don't know how that would go, but it does really well with the citrus or the peaches and plums, nectarines and bananas. You could probably put it on any surface, any surface that you could put the sauce onto, where the sauce would not just, melt into whatever it's being incorporated with. As long as it sort of floats on the top, you could put a layer of the sugar and then torch it. So there are a lot of possibilities playing with the sauces, the fruit, and the sugar, and the torch. It's a lot of fun. Thank you. So I'll have samples for you. I've got the grapefruit wedges, and I'll have some samples over at the table where I have the cookbooks, and you're welcome to browse them. I also have some chocolate rum balls that I brought with me that are also in the cookbook. There's a section on baked goods, so that's why it's in the breakfast cookbook. All right. I am done.
Thank you, Dana.
Okay, very short.
And Dana will also be right over here to sign books, and she's got some more samples. She thinks she has some rum balls left, but I had to tell her that I ate them.
I have a private stash.
Okay. We got plenty of rum balls over there too. So I want to thank Dana Moos for giving us this wonderful display. And we've got Kathy Guts coming up in a few minutes, so we're going to reset the stage and be ready to go in about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.